moments, we meet the young woman selling her virginity to the highest bidder. Find out why she's hoping for more than $1 million from the man who wants to share her first love of passion.
And he spent 22 years on death row for a crime he didn't commit. We meet the man who was just days away from execution when he was cleared of murder.
Could statins be a waste of time? And have we finally found a way to call time on problem drinking? Dr. Chris brings us the truth behind this week's health headlines.
And drop the boy, he's a man. Yes, Matt Goss is here with news of one of the most eagerly anticipated reunions of all time. So we'll be speaking to the young woman selling her virginity in just a moment.
We'll be hearing from a man who spent 22 years on death row at 10:45.
Dr. Chris has the health stories affecting you just before 11.
And Matt Goss pops in for a chat at 12:15.
Now then, when you think about losing your virginity, the hope is that you do so with someone you love, respect and trust implicitly.
But 18-year-old Alexandra has different ideas. Far from it being an act of intimacy between two people who care about each other, Alexandra is planning to auction her virginity to a complete stranger in the hope that she will raise enough money to make her dreams of a university education come true. She joins us now to tell us more, and welcome.
Good morning.
When did you start thinking about this for the first time?
Well, I think I was 15 and I saw a movie on TV. It was about a girl who sold herself for $1 million a night.
Indecent proposal.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. And I thought that, maybe I can do this too with my virginity. And I looked it up on the internet and I saw very, very many girls that sold themselves for 3.5 million or more.
Why would you want to do that? Because as I said in the intro there, a lot of people, virginity is something very special to them, something that, as I said, was to be shared between somebody you trust and you love very much. Why would you want to sell something so precious?
You're right, but many girls sold their virginity and after that, maybe after many years, they break up with the guy, and it's not worth it. So I have a really good cause. I need the money to study abroad because I want to go to the Oxford University to study marketing and business. Plus, I live in a very poor country and I need to help my parents, so I need to buy them a home. After that, after I graduate, I know I want to start my own business and do very great things.
There's a time limit on this because your parents get evicted in February.
Yes,
so
that's the problem.
You need this to happen quite quickly.
Yes.
So you're doing this through an online escort agency.
Yes.
What about the man that's going to buy it? I mean, he's not going to be the man of your dreams, is he? He's going to be some big old hairy fat guy, isn't he?
Maybe he will. But I'm just thinking that it's strictly business, not emotional.
So you're not thinking, what about that night? The night you sell it, the night you meet him?
I think it would be all right. I would just drink a glass of wine and it will go through.
But do you not think that this may be something that at the age of 18, and I understand that, and actually what's really sad about this is that the reason you're doing it is, like you said, there's a time ticking and you're desperate for the money.
Yes.
And there is no doubt that if I was to go, here's £1 million now, that you just wouldn't, there's no way you would do this. This is not, it's almost
true,
not out of choice. My worry is how you're going to feel about this later on or after the event or when you go to sleep and you just keep thinking it and having that vision in your head of what happened. How are you going to cope with that?
I will not think about it. I know the cost. I know what I'm doing it for. Not the actual thing.
What about health and safety? I mean, you've had to be tested to make sure that you are a virgin.
I was tested before,
Yeah.
And
Medically
after
examined.
yes, and after the buyer wins the bidding, I will go and test again in his country.
But what about him? Will you test him?
Test him. Why?
For health, safety?
Oh,
What if he has an
I
STD?
didn't
What
thought
if he...
about it.
You haven't thought about that?
I mean, that's quite...
Wouldn't that be the first thing you'd think about? Is whether or not
Yes,
he
probably you will test him too.
Probably. Have you just thought about this on the sofa now?
I didn't thought about it. No, because
In
I
which
don't
case, I've got to
know
say to you,
about sexual things.
how much are you thinking about this? You're a virgin. You're not sexually experienced. You haven't even thought about the fact that the guy could have an STD. What are you doing? You're having ideas sitting on the sofa. What if you get pregnant?
I will not. I will take some pills before.
Yeah. And your parents drop you off at the airport. to
Yes,
come here?
yes.
Yeah, they have no clue what you're doing.
No.
What did you tell them?
I told them that I'm going for model catwalk.
So they don't know the whole reason you're doing this is to
I'm
help them.
doing this for them, but they don't know.
And if they knew what lengths you were going to help them, do you think they'd try and stop you?
Yes, of course.
What would they say? What would your father say?
My father is a very strict man, and I think that he wouldn't agree. I think he would.
But what if this gets out? You're appearing on national television. Things go global.
I know, but my parents will not find out, and if they will, at least I will give them what they need, and that's all.
So do you think that you could say to your parents, listen, I did this for you, you're being evicted in February, this is very noble of you, and I get that, I understand that totally, and it's a big sacrifice to make for the well-being of your parents and for your future education. But will they accept that if you say to them, I did this for you?
Well, if they don't find out, I will never tell them.
The other important thing to flag up here is that, as you said, you are doing this through an agency and you are hoping to get €1 million
Yes.
for your virginity. How much are the agency taking of your money that you earn?
We talked about it like a few months ago, but a few weeks ago we talked about it again, and they will take only 20%.
Because originally it was 50%.
Yes.
And what have you had any discussions with them about the safety aspects of what you're about to do? You say you will go to any man who's prepared to pay anywhere in Europe.
Yes.
Will you go on your own?
Yes.
I've got to say, I mean, I'm a father. I've got two girls who are not far off your age. I have to say to you now, I mean, I think the people saying this at home, are you out of your mind? You haven't thought about the health aspects? You haven't thought about the safety aspects? What are you thinking?
I live in a world where I think that everything is okay and everything is right, so I don't...
But everything isn't okay in the world, and everything isn't right, and there are very bad people out there.
Well, I think that if you're going to pay that price, you will be a good man and not having
Gosh, I'm not
problems.
so sure. I think you need somebody to support you through this. I really do, because I think you need to sit down and really think about the implications of what you're doing. I understand that this stems from a desperation that us sat here will just never ever understand, thankfully, because I can't imagine why a beautiful young lady like you would put yourself through something like this. As for other women, because like you said, you looked on this website and there were many girls
Yes.
who have done this. Is this becoming an option? What would you say to young girls that are watching this now thinking, oh, well, I need to put myself through university? Would you suggest this as a good way of doing that?
If it's an emergency, like in my case, if it's a real emergency that you need those money quickly and it's no other way you can do it, I would say yes, unfortunately. But if it's not an emergency, then no.
You say that you come from a part of Europe where your parents will never find out about this.
Yes.
Your friends won't discover you online. You're thinking about having an education in the UK.
Yes.
What about if you meet a really lovely guy at university and he finds it online?
Then, if he doesn't want to continue our relationship, if he will have one, it's okay. It's his choice. I'm not staying with someone just because.
We want to make sure that you've thought about this properly, and Penny, our counsellor, is here today, and I just would like you to, after the show, if you want to, it'd be nice if you maybe just had a chat, just to talk through it, as you're making an educated choice, I guess.
And I think also you've got to look at this website that you're doing this through. If they're just taking 20% and sending you out there, they haven't helped you in any way with the major aspects that are involved in a decision of this size. I think you seriously have to look at the relationship that you have with them as well. But it is, as we say, it's as Holly said, it's a tragedy that it's come to this. I hope personally that maybe there's some miracle that your parents don't get evicted in February, and you don't have to do this as a young woman.
Look after yourself, okay? And go and have a chat with Penny. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Well,